picks with Brandon Staley. Do you know who was one of the top running games in the NFL last year? Why Justin Herbert had such a good year a year ago? The Chargers. I think they finished third or fourth in rushing. Why do you think he had a good year according to PFF? Because they got a running game going. That's why. So when I made that comment to you at the open of the show, how did two shitty quarterbacks make it to a Super Bowl? Simple. They had a good roster. Okay. That's why when you're talking about, what was the word Zander was using? Egregious? that was the word of the day, egregious. I had to look the fucker up. You know me. These guys use big words. I'm a man of the people here. I don't use big words. What's the rule that prevents us from doing both? Jalen over 4K and running game with Barkley, Shipley, and Dillon over 2K. Dude, you got the old line for that to screw that whole thing up and go for it. Yeah, you got that. You absolutely do. All right. Great combo, man. Guys, I appreciate the supers. And by the way, thank you very much. What is this? 12-month member. Thank you very much, man. We appreciate that very much. By the way, we got a nice treat for you because of the All-Star game. Coming up, we got Curt Schilling going to join us. We're going to talk some ball with him. That'll be at 4:30. And we will talk with our friend, Curt Schilling. Hit the like button. Without further ado, our boy, Big Z, Zander Krause joins us now. How you doing?
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
You like the All-Star game?
What, the MLB one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I think there's I think you turn it on and you realize kind of how far baseball fallen because some of the names you don't even know. And I don't know if that's just me. And I've been watching baseball a lot this year, so I'm familiar with most of them. But I hope baseball makes a hard comeback because, and I think for some reason I feel a turn. I feel like maybe they hit the bottom and they're on their way back up. But I don't know, man. I was watching a little bit of the home run derby last night, and I'm like, who?
Hey,
and you're just like, dude, they used to turn on the home run derby, and it was, all the biggest names. Yeah. I mean, and you're like, man, this is awesome, know?
Yeah.
But I hope baseball bounces back a little bit. But no, I like the All-Star game. I'll say what, I like them jerseys. I like the jerseys they had on. I thought they were pretty cool looking.
So I did too. I can't wait to see it tonight. I'm an American League guy. I'm sure you're a National League guy because of the Phillies. So I'm an American League guy because I'm a Yankee guy, man. I mean, I told you, I grew up in a Yankee household. That's right. That's right. You grew up, your pop's a Yankee fan.
I grew up in a Yankee household. So I got some respect for the Yanks for sure.
Do you understand what I was saying today here about teams? I didn't even really start the conversation off about Jalen Hurts. How in the world did a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo, and do you think highly of Purdy? I don't remember.
I think he's a great mediocre quarterback.
How did he get to
probably the best version of a mediocre quarterback you can get?
Okay, then how did a mediocre quarterback take a team or help a team get to a Super Bowl?
Well, I think he had a lot of great situation.
Okay.
I do think he played really well that year. I mean, didn't he? He played really good in the playoffs. I think he got the ball. How many passing yards did he have? 4,000 yards?
41.
I think one of the best things with Brock Purdy, though, is that the system he's in with Kyle Shanahan allows his skill set to work great. I mean, in a way, I see where you're going. It is comparable to Jalen Hurts, where the way the team plays offense in Philly is compatible with the quarterback, and the way that Kyle Shanahan was running an offense in San Francisco was compatible with the way Brock Purdy was playing, because get the ball out quick, get the ball in your playmaker's hands, and he's a read and react quarterback. He gets the ball out quick. He's not a scrambler. He's not a playmaker. He's get the ball out quick. He's a rhythm guy, right? So, 3-step drop, 5-step drop, back foot hits the dirt and let the ball go. And Kyle had a perfect offense for that. Now, I think where Jalen differentiates himself from a player like that is Jalen possesses elite playmaking ability, and we've seen it time and time again. I don't know if I've ever seen Brock Purdy, make a play where you're like, oh my God, I've seen plenty of those plays from Jalen Hurts. Now, where you're right is you can draw the comp a little bit. You know, Jalen might not work in a high-powered offense. Jalen works in Philly really well, but I think Jalen possesses a lot more of an upside to him than Purdy would.
I'm not suggesting in any way Purdy's better. I'm just telling you that Jimmy Garoppolo and Brock Purdy, according to people in Philly, those are mediocre players that benefited having a great football team around them. You don't need to be an elite player at that position to help your football team get to a Super Bowl, is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, obviously different circumstances dictated for sure, but
there were two different guys.
Well, that's right. I mean, I know, but I don't think that's I don't think that takes away from what Jalen's done.
I'm not talking about Jalen. I'm talking about two quarterbacks that you just called average and mediocre, took two teams to two Super Bowls, and they were okay, and they benefited having a great football team around them. Is that correct? So okay. So you're calling those guys mediocre. And
but what's the point? Like, what's the point of the game is to win the game.
The same thing here when it comes to the quarterback in Philly. And I'm not saying he's mediocre. I'm saying this. Anytime you talk about Herbert or any of these other quarterbacks, it first has to start with the talent around them, not the talent of the player. What is the environment that he?
No, because I don't really agree with that. Because why hasn't Joe Burrow and Josh Allen won?
Because they don't have good football teams,
right? And they're not. And well, does that take away from what they are as players? So if every great quarterback. If every great quarterback needs a great team around them, then why are we using it as a crutch for Purdy, but not Jalen, or for Jalen and not the rest of them?
Wait, again.
By the way, the other difference is Purdy's been to one, and they haven't been back.
He's been starting fewer years. He hasn't been starting the same amount of years. No, he hasn't.
Jalen's been to two Super Bowls in 3 years.
He's only started 2 years in San Francisco.
Jalen's been to two Super Bowls in 3 years with two really different rosters.
His first year starting, he went.
Yeah, well,
because he had a good team around him, right?
Yeah, but that wasn't Jalen's progression. I mean, Jalen started off slower his rookie year. They won 9 games. He got better as a player, reached MVP level play, and went to a Super Bowl. So again, Purdy might be like this, Hills. And if you got a great team around him, you can get into the Super Bowl. Jalen has a much higher upside and a much higher ceiling than a player like that. And yes, Philly has a great roster, but the only thing that means to me is that Jalen doesn't have to be as elite on a week in, week out basis. But when he was elite, and by the way, my entire life, Sills, my entire life on this planet, the entire 27 years I've been on this planet, you know what we have talked about in Philadelphia, even with the absence of them? Playoff football, winning playoff games, winning the Super Bowl. We never had it. So when you get to the things that are more important than the regular season, that are more important than all the other games, and Jalen plays lights out in those games without Saquon Barkley in the Super Bowl, without Saquon Barkley in 2022. He was the best player on the field in the 22 Super Bowl. So the upside is way higher on Jalen Hurts than it is on a guy like Brock Purdy.
He's had 1 year of consistent football, which was 22, which was 3 years, which is going on 3 years ago now. Is that right, in your opinion?
Well, I don't think no.
Really? Okay. One other year.
I think that was his best year of football.
What other year do you think he's played consistent football where he was like at that 22 level?
Well, it hasn't been consistent because the team has asked him to be a different version of himself each year. And there's pros to that and cons to that, right? You can say somebody like a Big Sills would say, they don't ask Burrow to be different. I would say you're a chameleon. Different teams are always going to require a different version of the quarterback. That's why so many great quarterbacks come up short, because they're stuck in one mode. Jalen is, again, for lack of a better word, a chameleon and can be what you need him to be. 22, if you didn't have an MVP quarterback, we weren't going to the Super Bowl. In 24, if Jalen Hurts was turning the ball over like he was in weeks 1 through 4, or he wasn't doing his job to manage those games the right way, we weren't going to the Super Bowl. So 2 different versions of Jalen, 2 Super Bowl appearances. I view that as a feather in the cap, as opposed to, a chink in the armor.
How about this? Like I said, You don't have to be an elite player to get your team to a Super Bowl was one of the points that I was trying to make. You're a product of your environment that you're on.
But I do think Jalen's an elite player.
Okay. Jalen's the sixth best player in his huddle, correct?
I'd say probably third or fourth, probably. Probably take Mailata, Lane, Saquon, and AJ, and then I'd probably go Jalen fifth.
So you think that Landon being probably the best guard in the sport, Jalen's not the best.
I think Jalen and Landon are very comparable in how good Jalen is as a quarterback compared to how good Landon is as a guard. So if you told me you take Landon, I think that's more of a credit to the front office than it is a knock on Jalen.
I'm not knocking anybody. I'm just saying this, that's the only place in the NFL where the quarterback's the fourth or fifth or sixth best player in the huddle. The only place in the league.
Oh, and that's one of the places where
a feather in the hat? Sure. But that's to the point I was making earlier that you don't have to be an elite player to get a team to a Super Bowl. Especially when you're not the best player. You don't. You don't think
Brock
Purdy.
I don't disagree entirely with your premise. I disagree with linking it into who Jalen is, because I don't believe you could take another quarterback. You say that like, okay, if all you need is to be mediocre for a team like this, then why do we pay Jalen? Just draft a third rounder if all you needed to be is mediocre.
I never said he was.
I'm
not saying that.
What are you saying then? Get off the fence and say it.
No fucking fence. I'm telling you, you need a great football team, not a great quarterback to win Super Bowls.
That goes for every team in the league, right? Maybe outside of Mahomes.
Except one guy that's in KC.
Yeah,
that's it.
Agreed. And did you hear John? I mean, John thinks KC's a really great team too. I don't think the roster is nearly as good as the Eagles. Yeah, I don't think their roster is even as good as the Ravens or probably even the Bills. I mean, the Bills have had some players in the last couple of years, and now they've added Joey Bosa. They got a good defensive line. I mean, they've bolstered up their offensive line a little bit. Their skill position guys don't wow me at all, and I think that's why you see so much playmaking coming from Josh Allen. But I think overall that's a pretty good roster. Chiefs roster doesn't wow me, and I think that's why, in my mind, I don't really care what Mahomes does. He's the number one quarterback in football because he's the only one that's proven he'll defy the odds at every level. When the team is great, he'll win. When the team's not so great, he'll win. Now, he's had bad Super Bowls. He's had bad playoff games. There's been times where you watch Mahomes and you're like, what the heck are you doing? But, all the things added up together makes me, kill the ego and say, shit, he's doing it. So I think Jalen's kind of in that category, just maybe a little bit further behind Mahomes.
Here's what I would say to you when you look at this list of 10. It's been 24 hours, and I heard a bunch of bullshit. Most of it is. Okay, and I even disagree with it. But here, every single one of these quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes is starting to get into the area of his career where, bro, you need a running back there. Like, you need a running back, because you're going to start getting into a position where if you had a decent running back in that football game, that may have been a completely different ball game if they had somebody that could possess the ball and move the sticks outside of the quarterback having to do everything. He's not in that position any longer because the game is not evolving now. The offense is not evolving. You're limiting, like you said, Zander, you go from Tyreek Hill to Juju Smith-Schuster to a first-year Xavier Worthy, you're fucking going backwards. You're not going forward. And you got an aging Travis Kelce. And you're losing left tackles that was first-team All-Pro. I don't know like you said, what John's thinking there, but in the last 3 years, you've lost Tooney, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce's getting older. I don't know where you're adding players on that offense. So that, like I said, I agree with you. I think they take a step back. Here's Josh Allen, bro. They need a running game late in the season when the weather is where they're going. This is what the Eagles do so well. They build around Jalen Hurts' deficiencies so he doesn't have to be a player every week to carry his fucking football team. It's not a rip. That is executive building of a program. The Bills, he's not going to throw you into a Super Bowl. Here's Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow went to a Super Bowl when they had Joe Mixon. And Joe Mixon was a 1,200-yard rusher. They got rid of Joe Mixon. The O-line's the worst O-line in football, and their defense sucks. Where the fuck are you going with that? I would make this point to you. Joe Burrow probably does more with less than anybody on the football field in the NFL. Some would go, wait, he's got Chase and Higgins. And then who else? The defense blows. They were 28th. The O-line is one of the lower 3 worst in the league. Where are you going? And you won 9 games. You want to know slow starts? The organization does not have a good – I can't believe he wins as many games as he wins there. Some go, well, that's an excuse. Like an excuse, it's reality. Mike Brown doesn't – do you think Mike Brown and the Cincinnati Bengals built good teams?
No.
Okay, well –
Is your internet bad on your side? Does it say it's bad? Or is it me?
It's you. I'm full juiced.
All right, you're cutting out like crazy, but it says my internet's good.
Really?
All right, you're good. Yeah, I can barely hear you right now.
Holy cow. No, everything's good on this side over here, man. Really? We're still cutting out?
I don't know if it's you. It might be me. Full juiced. Still, Sue says you're good.
Yeah, I'm full juice, bro. I've got like my Viagra needle is pointing up. How you doing?
All right, you're good.
Okay,
all right, you're
everything's
good.
over here. Yeah. So
It might be me.
Listen, I'm just trying to put context into this. It's been 24 hours. I heard people going like, what was that word you were using? It was a pretty fancy word. I had to look it up. Egregious?
That's not a big word, Sills.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not as educated as you are here. So I mean, egregious. So I mean, look, I just made the point. You don't have to be a good quarterback to go to a Super Bowl. Right? Did I not?
I get. I don't really think. I mean, I don't know. I think you're trying to make you're making a backhanded compliment on Jalen and saying it's not a rip. It's not. You just said it's not a rip, so that I can't say it's a rip. But like it is a rip. You're trying to discredit what Jalen has done to lead the team to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. I'm not going to do that. He's had more success with our football team than any other quarterback. I'm giving him credit for that.
Wait, you just said Brock Purdy is a below average to average guy.
All right. Would you take Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts?
I take Jalen
No.
Hurts.
Answer the question. Would you take Brock Purdy or Jalen Hurts?
I would totally take Jalen Hurts over the stiff that took a team to a Super Bowl. Yes. My point is made. Yes, I would. But still, a stiff took a team to a playoff because of roster, not because of quarterback play. He didn't take that team to the Super Bowl.
When Brock Purdy gets half a new roster and leads that team back to the Super Bowl, then maybe I'll consider him in the same sentence as Jalen Hurts. Until that point, he's not in that category.
Why don't you give him the same latitude of playing time that Hurts has? He's only been starting 2 years.
That's not true. Brock Purdy
really?
3 years.
Okay, well, Hurts has been starting 4 years, so 3 years.
He started 3. Well, and 22. I guess he didn't. He only had 1,300 yards. I don't know how many games he played that year, but I mean, huh?
I think he played 5. I think he started like the last 4 games of the year that year. Okay. So
let me leave and come back. This is ridiculous. I can barely hear you.
Okay. All right. All good. Folks, is it me? Tell me if it's me or is it him? Because
let me leave and come back real quick.
All right. Yeah, because he's freezing. I wonder if it is. Is it me or is it him? I'm fully juiced up here. I'm ready to rock. We're good here. Okay. Yeah, see, now he's like swirling here. Is that what it is? All right. Okay. Trey, I don't take his opinion seriously. Thinks that Dak's better than Aikman. No way. No way. Absolutely no way. So let's there he is.
I'm
hey
back,
man, you You got to work in that. You got to work in that Corvette Wi-Fi, man.
Corvette Wi-Fi is fine, baby.
See, wait a minute. See, look at you get all offended. See him get offended.
I'm not offended at all. I just think your take is terrible. It's a terrible take. It's not bashing
you
anything.
just said he's and
you continued to bash the player. It's fine. You don't like the player. He's not your style. He's going to keep winning. The Eagles are in the best spot they've ever been in. We've had the best run. In fact, you could argue Big Sills is a good luck charm because we hired this guy to come and talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, and we've had the best 4-year run.
I'm not bashing him, guys. I'm not bashing him. Zander just said that Brock Purdy was a below-average quarterback, and he thinks that's a backhanded slap to Jalen Hurts because he took a team to a Super Bowl like Jimmy Garoppolo did. How's that a backhanded slap? My point was trying to make is that a roster gets you to the Super Bowl, not quarterback play. That was my point. And this is all the Jalen guys that get upset when you say something like that. And everybody gets offended and defensive because they think it's a backhanded slap. It's not a backhanded slap. Maybe a little. Bobo Lang. Bobo Lang. Oh, man. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button here. How you doing? We're 7 days out from the start of camp. All right. Hopefully we see if we get Zander back up here again, man.
I'm right here. Man, someone's going to have to pay.
You are so offended and you get so twisted.
I'm not offended. I'm trying to protect you. You're making yourself look dumb.
How is that?
You've been shitting on the player for 4 years. We've had more success than any other player we've ever had in Philly.
Nobody's talking about him. You just said a shitty quarterback took a team to a Super Bowl. How is that a bad take? That's your take.
Hey, Elizabeth, when I'm not on this show doesn't go on without me, whether I'm on the screen or not. There is no afternoon off in my world, okay, Elizabeth? So take that and get out of here with it. Big Sills has shit takes all around. I'm telling him they're shit, and he can't disprove it. I mean, how much more does Jalen have to do?
I'm not talking about – wait. Dude, once again, this is the defensive mode that everyone in Philly jumps on when you make a point that when I say this – and by the way, I asked everybody, what was your take on Brock Purdy? Everyone goes below average, not very good. Why did he get a team to a Super Bowl? Everyone goes because he had a good team around him, okay? How did Garoppolo get there? Not a very good player, had a good team around him. How is that a fucking shit take?
Jalen Hurts to Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo.
I didn't say Jalen Hurts' name once there.
Oh, there you go. He hides behind that BS. Are you not lumping Jalen in with those two players or not?
Wait a second.
Get off the fence.
Wait a
second. Make the take or don't.
I just fucking went down the lane that said, how did a shitty quarterback take a team to a Super Bowl? And somehow this has turned into, who would you rather have, Hurts or Purdy? I'm not talking about that shit. I'm talking about. Didn't
they just pay Purdy $51 million more or $55 million more than Jalen Hurts?
I think $51 million. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Again, don't be so offended.
I'm not offended at all. I don't take offense to things that don't make sense.
That's a point that's fact. You just fucking said it. He sucks. He's no good. He got a team to a Super Bowl. You just fucking said it. How is that not facts?
Did he win it?
Again, no. He sucks. He's not good.
Has he been to 2?
He's not good.
Has he been second in the MVP voting?
Third.
Has he been second team All-Pro?
I don't believe he was second team, but
is he 90-20 in his professional football career?
2 fucking years.
Okay, good. They're not the same player. They're not even close to the same player.
This guy's somehow he's evolved this into saying that I think Purdy's better than him. I didn't say that. I said he's lesser than him.
So what's the insinuation? If I can't pick up on it, if I'm having such a hard time picking up on what you're trying to say, then explain it to me like I'm 2.
You don't have to be a great quarterback to take a fucking team to a Super Bowl.
And the point is?
That's the point. It's about roster, not the quarterback.
So you're not talking about Jalen Hurts at all. You're just making a blanket statement that across the NFL, you can get to a Super Bowl without elite quarterback.
And I have receipts to prove it.
Well, yeah, sure. That's fine.
Okay.
That's not the case in Philly, but that's
fine. Why nobody's that's why when you talk and see these rankings.
I talk about the Eagles. I care about the Eagles. No. I don't give a shit about Brock Purdy.
People have these rankings of these quarterbacks. You first have to start with the team, not the player. What's the environment they're in? Who's the coach? Who's the personnel guy? Who's the GM? All of that. And then you go like this. The one point that you make all the time is this. The guy in Baltimore has no excuses. And I completely agree. And as a matter of fact,
you give him an excuse every week.
What's that?
And you love giving him excuses.
What excuse is that? He's a better player than him?
And the entire media.
No, I'm not. Okay, then the entire league gives him an excuse. And every executive in the league gives him an excuse. And then everybody that's a coach gives him an excuse. And I'm with those guys. You're right. I'm not in that camp that thinks your boy's better than him. I'm not. And I'm with the rest of the league and the rest of the general managers and the rest.
I'm starting to think everybody's a little bit of a butterball on Lamar Jackson. Like, yo, dude, win. Like, I don't really give a shit that you can juke. Like, I really don't care. Like, it does. That's not that cool to me. I want parades. And if you're a Baltimore fan, I'm sure they're thinking the same thing.
You get parades because of the roster, not the quarterback.
What's the difference? I want to win.
Okay, right.
I don't want 4,000 passing yards. I don't care.
Nobody is saying that you don't, bro. You have the best team in football. You got it. I got that. But my point today was, which I proved because we have documents of it, of players doing it. Everybody in here today said Garoppolo and Purdy suck dick. They're not good. Yet they got there. How's that possible? You know how it is? You got a really good team. So you don't have to be elite to get a team to a Super Bowl. And there's two examples of it.
And on the National Football Show with a Philadelphia Eagles audience, your comp to the Eagles is what?
It wasn't a comp to the Eagles. It was more about the top 10 list and how you rank those quarterbacks and how you looked at those QBs. This was not really, hey, I even told you yesterday, I think Hurts is too low on that thing. My point is how everyone looks at that list. It doesn't put proper context around it. And the proper context is, hey, are they on good teams? Do they have good coaches? And by the way, we say it. I hear John say it. It's not a rip that you guys have built a great roster, a great organization, a great team. You don't need to be an elite quarterback to take a team to a Super Bowl, was my point. You have to have an elite roster to get there. Brock Purdy had a great defense. Do you not agree? The year they went to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. That was pretty fucking good. That was a great defense, right? Their O-line was good. McCaffrey was insane, right? Okay. Well, that's the point. It was more about the list and how they ranked them. Here, this is what I would say to you. Watch this on this list. Who has the best team on this list of 10? Jalen Hurts. Well, they're Super Bowl champions. So the Eagles would be look at this. Watch this. The Eagles, number 1. Who's got the second best roster on this list? That would be Jared Goff. He's ranked number 8, the Lions. They won 15 ball games last year. Let's go here. Who has the third best roster on this team? Let's see here. Who would that be? That would probably be Lamar, Baltimore. Okay? Baltimore won 14 ball games a year ago. Look at all the teams that are the best teams in the league and the guys that are on this list here. Joe Burrow, Cincinnati's not one of the best rosters. Buffalo's not one of the best rosters. Herbert.
Buffalo's top 10 for sure.
Name me one player in that offense that you like.
It's not about that. Overall, that roster is a top 10 roster in the NFL, Sills, for sure.
Name me one receiver that's worth a shit.
Well, I mean, is it all about only skill position players? They got good offensive line. They got good defensive line. They got good play. They got good cornerbacks. I mean, they got a good.
Throw line's good.
Yeah, their O-line's good. They got that running back, that Cook kid. I mean, they got players there. I mean, they don't have nothing. I mean, I agree Josh Allen is the biggest part of their offense, but hey, if he's so damn good, shouldn't he make up for the difference in that roster versus the Eagles roster?
No, because you
Oh,
know
wait,
why?
maybe he's not that much better than Jalen Hurts.
Okay, well, you can make that argument, but again, I won't. But I'll say this. I think the organization has to do a better job at going against his deficiencies like they do in Philly. Dude, they do a great job with deficiencies. You know, why do you think they signed Barkley a year ago? They didn't want Hurts to be the best running back in the backfield.
Well, maybe. I mean, I think
What did it do? It made him the second best. He's probably one of the best running quarterbacks that can throw the ball in NFL history. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think some teams, get complacent, and Howie never got complacent, to be fair.
Nope.
And he added Saquon Barkley when most GMs probably would have said, nah, we're not going to go that route. We're going to save the money here and sign a defender down the line. Howie doubled down. And, it's great that we added Saquon Barkley, but I'm not going to sit here and say that Saquon Barkley is the entire reason for Jalen Hurts' success. It's just not true. Saquon was a big part of it last year. The circumstance dictated that that's how we could play the ball. We had a great defense, a great running game, and it took us all the way to the Super Bowl. In 22, I watched Jalen be a completely different player, an MVP level player, and take an offense and lead him to a Super Bowl. So I don't like the using that Saquon showed up and now Jalen Hurts is a caboose. It just doesn't make sense. Now, did Saquon help? Absolutely. He's an unbelievable football player. That's what you do. You get a team, you get great players together, and you increase your chances at winning. So Saquon put us over the top. But I watched Jalen be an MVP candidate for the whole 22 season and go into the playoffs, be the best player on the field in Super Bowl 57, and he still doesn't get a damn lick of respect. I don't understand it.
That's 3 years ago now.
Who gives a shit?
No shit. Really? Who gives a shit? No question. I don't give a shit about
Brock. You brought up Brock Purdy and Jimmy G. They don't have that on their. They don't have that on their resume.
What? Why? He took a team. He went to a Super Bowl in his second year starting. Actually,
this is what I'm trying to show you. You're trying to make a comp.
No,
that
I'm
the
not.
Quarterbacks who have led a great team to a Super Bowl.
That's not.
What is your point of saying? Are you seriously telling me your point of saying it isn't to say that Jalen Hurts is boosted by a great team?
Absolutely not. It's by the fact that he went to a Super Bowl because you got a good football team. There's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with that. You just got through. Wait a minute. You just got through saying Brock Purdy below average, and he got to the game.
That was too much. He's not below average. Brock Purdy is an average to above average.
Is Garoppolo below average?
I would say Garoppolo in his prime was probably average.
Okay.
Now he's well below average.
Okay, so average. Wait a minute. What's the difference between Garoppolo today and Garoppolo when he took a team to a Super Bowl? Could it be that the roster he's on now is not good?
Well, what's the other common denominator with this comparison?
That you have to have a good football team around you to get to that.
Oh, no, there's one other common denominator that we haven't yet discussed.
Okay, what's that?
It's that Purdy and Garoppolo were both on the same organization with the same head coach who has a clear propensity to like that style of quarterback more than a playmaking style of quarterback. Now, that's not to say that they didn't have a great roster and that's not the reason that they went to the Super Bowl. But again, I view it as very, very, very different.
I don't think 4,100 yards and 33 touchdown passes is below average. I don't think that's.
I'm cutting out.
I don't think
with somebody about this.
Is it your internet?
Yeah, it's mine. I got to have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah. Hey, let me ask you this going into camp. 7 days out. For you, first 4 games of the year, will they be different than the first 4 games last year, and how? And why?
I think they'll be different offensively. I don't think Jalen's going to come out with 7 turnovers. Nope. I think they have a more grounded approach in the way they're going to play offense. They know they have Saquon. That doesn't mean they might not try and boost their passing game a little bit more, but I don't think they're going to come out and try and be something that they're not. So I think the offense looks a lot different, but I think it could be comparable defensively, where you have a lot of the young guys, a lot of the new starters coming in, and Maybe it takes him a couple weeks. I think it might even take a couple of weeks, by the way, for the young players. You know, think about this. They played all the way to February. Their season went basically almost to the end of February with parades and marches and all sorts of different and PR campaigns.
They had a week
all
off.
Different things. My question is, how, you know, we talked about the youth on the team. I think by week 5, all this stuff is in the rearview mirror. But from week 1 to 4, do you have guys gassed? Do you have guys tired? Do you have guys that aren't quite, you know, up to game speed yet? I think that could be possible with a young team with, I don't want to say immature, but obviously a 30-year-old player is a different player. Yeah, inexperienced. Right. So I think maybe that could be a factor. And the other thing is, I think Fangio, I mean, on one side, you have the inexperienced players. On the other side, you have the most experienced coordinator. And I think it's going to take him a little bit of time to figure out what he actually wants and who he actually wants playing where. And
if it were me.
Did you get that? I'm spitting fire.
Say the last
I'm
part
spitting
again.
super hot fire over here, shredding the show, and my internet's not holding. I mean, this is a travesty.
You made no sense today on that tape when I was making that point today. I mean, you called the guy not a very good ball player, and I said not a very good ball player made the Super Bowl, and somehow you took that as an offensive shot at Jalen. I don't know where you got that from. I have no idea where you got that from. I was talking more about the list that was compiled with the top 9 guys. And as usual, Philly fans get upset with that because they think it's a backhanded slap at their guy.
Jalen Hurts is elite.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he was elite all year. By the way, he wasn't even the MVP on his own team a year ago.
He's elite.
Oh, yeah, he looked it. I mean, you're right. 22 was his best year. 22 was his best year. That's for sure. No doubt about it. Tell you the one thing I do love, though. I do love the fact that he's hanging out with Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. Bro, when you're around people like that and you're talking to people like that, there's just something about it. When you hear guys talking about what motivates them and being around guys like Kobe, being around guys like back in the day when Kobe was alive, being around guys like Derek Jeter, what makes those guys tick. I like that fact that he's hanging around those guys because, again, that shit rubs off, in my opinion.
I agree. I agree completely.
I really do.
He's the face of Jordan.
What?
He's going to be the face of Jordan.
Never be the face of Jordan. He's not on the team to do it. Dak is. Dak's on more TV. Dude, not that he's a better player. He's a better player.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. But you know, one guy's hanging out with Jordan in Greece, the other guy's nowhere to be found. Who's the face of Jordan?
Great. Okay, that's in your eyes and in maybe Michael's eyes even, but the public's eyes too.
Dak Prescott's barely the face of the Cowboys anymore.
Well, why are the Cowboys the most viewed television show of the year?
Well, they're the Cowboys. I mean, you talk about
my point. That's my point. It's not
Dak is not the face of Jordan.
Okay. Well, if you're on, get this, folks. If you're on the number 1 television broadcast every year and more faces see you and you're on the most visible team, who's the face of Jordan? Who's the face of the league?
Jalen Hurts, the face of Jordan, and Luka Doncic. Those are the 2 faces of Jordan.
So even though he's got more exposure, he is the face of the league.
No, I'm talking about the actual man that started the brand, the superstar athletic phenom that is Michael Jordan himself, is hanging out with one of the 2 guys that we're talking about. You're trying to tell me that the face of the brand, not the team, not the NFL, not the Cowboys, the face of Jordan is Dak Prescott.
The ratings prove it.
No, the ratings prove that the Dallas Cowboys are the most dominant brand in the NFL.
I really don't have to debate that. He's on TV the most, and they're the highest. Wait a minute. Here's facts, folks. The Cowboys are on TV on the primetime games. They're the most visible team in the league and the sports team in this country. Who do you think gets more visibility? Jalen Hurts, who people are still saying whether or not he's a good player, or Dak Prescott, who's on the front of the television of NFL football every weekend? And the
What the
highest
NFL,
rated,
I don't get what that has to do with Jordan. That's different.
I just said that's the face of a brand when you're the most exposed. Wait a minute.
Wait a second. Wait, who was the
50
most?
million
Wait.
people-
So
This is a
Dak gets a couple more million viewers on a weekly basis.
couple more?
But one guy's been playing in February 2 of the last 3 years. One guy was all over every TV show in the country. One guy was on the cover of 20 magazines this summer. One guy is all over everywhere, and one guy is traveling to Greece with the man himself. But the guy who's on the more bigger brand football team is the
franchise in the world. What's the most expensive franchise in the world?
That's a different point. You're right.
The Cowboys. The quarterback's the face of that franchise.
Dude, that's NFL. That's not Jordan brand, Sileo. They're two different things.
He wears the brand on the #1 TV show in the world, in our world, the NFL in America.
I would make a bet to you that Jalen Hurts got way more impressions last year across the entire digital ether in the world than Dak Prescott did with the playoffs, with the Super Bowl, with all the appearances that he did. I mean, Dak Prescott barely played anything last year. Dak Prescott wasn't even invited to his Champions Conference in Greece. Dak Prescott is not the face of
Prescott barely played anything last year and made 60 fucking million. Yeah, I'm sure you're right. I'm sure you're right.
With the bullshit.
Yeah,
what does that do with anything?
Get this. I'm sure you're right with people still complaining whether or not the guy's elite or not. Okay, yeah, I'm sure. And I'm not saying Dak's even good. I don't think Dak's good any longer. I don't. But he's on the #1 TV show of the year. And that's football without.
It's not the face of Jordan.
Okay, you're right. No, you're right. He's the face of the Cowboys. So whatever you want to take with that, then sure. Okay.
Yeah, he's the face of the Cowboys. That's different.
The Cowboys are the most visible team in the league. Are they not?
Sills.
Boy, I can't believe that. You're telling me a team? Watch this, folks. You go to a movie theater.
Advertising is my game, brother. That's how I feed my family. That's how I put money in my. That's how I pay your salary. I understand advertising.
Hey guys,
Jordan brand is not
an actor.
Prescott is not the face of Jordan brand.
If you're an
actor,
actor,
close to it.
If you're an actor and you have a television show or a movie, and more people go and watch my movie versus this dude here, who's more visible, this guy or that guy? Who sells more tickets, this guy or that guy? Dak's on the most visible team in the world. And he's the face of that team. Plain and simple. I mean,
that does not equate to being the face of a brand, Sileo.
Yes, okay, you're right. That's why
I'm 100%. This isn't even like an opinionated debate. This is a fact.
Never.
Dak Prescott is nowhere close to the face of Jordan.
Never happened.
Nowhere
Dude,
close.
He's not even the face of his own fucking team.
You're right. He's the face of Jordan, the brand that sponsors him, that has him at every event, that makes sweatshirts for him, that makes ad campaigns for him, that runs billboards for him, that does all these different things. I've never seen Dak Prescott in any of those.
He is the face of the Eagles right now because he's the best player. Watch, I guarantee you when that list comes out of the top 100 players, you want to bet Barkley will be ranked ahead of Hurts? Yes or no?
Don't go to advertising school with Sileo. All right, I'll tell you that much.
You're damn right.
Listen to a sports show.
Get this. Hey, first you tried to, and then he tried to tell me you don't go to a Super Bowl with a shitty quarterback, and I proved it twice you do. And that's a bad take, and somehow it's a bad slap at him. I don't know. Anyway, hey, I got to tell you. Let's do some of these supers. Let's do the supers here, brother.
Good night. Hangry Dog says, isn't the #1 TV show the Super Bowl? Yes, it is, Dio. Good point.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Leon Banks says, like this if you think Sills is a clown today. Jeff Bone the Bonehead says, can you see Jalen being better than McNabb? I think he's already more accomplished than McNabb.
Absolutely more accomplished. Absolutely.
Better? I don't know. I mean, I think McNabb obviously was a super uber talented player, but I don't think he
yeah, but if it's 2 minutes in a game, I'm taking Hurts over McNabb.
Yeah, but it's a tough comp because I've never seen McNabb with a team that's as good as what the Eagles have assembled right now. So, now could McNabb have handled it? Jalen took a back seat last year and has to listen to guys like Sileo and everybody else say he's the 9th best quarterback in football. I don't think McNabb could have handled that. He couldn't even handle T.O. for 1 year, let alone Saquon Barkley having 2,000 yards rushing, A.J. Brown crying about a book, Devontae Smith over here, Dallas Goedert wants a contract. I mean, Jalen Hurts is a different cat, but I think McNabb probably had more raw talent But that doesn't always get you what you want in life. You got to have more than raw talent.
Absolutely.
Chris Scott says, do you think this Sauce Gardner contract could hurt us signing Cooper Q in 3 to 4 years? Definitely. He's getting $31 million.
Did he get signed today?
Yeah, $30.1 million.
Holy Madon.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
30.1.
Wow.
It's $100,000 more than Derek Stingley, who signed $30 million. And it's a $6 million jump from Patrick Surtain, who signed the highest paid cornerback contract in history just one off season to go at $24 million a year. So it pays to sign early. And this is why the Eagles do that. So when everybody wonders, hey, why sign Jalen just now? Why sign AJ? Well, that's why, because they know they're getting out ahead of it.
Didn't they just sign Garrett Wilson yesterday to a $32 million annual deal?
Yeah, I think yesterday or 2 days ago.
Wow, man. That's a lot of bones, man. Holy cow.
I think that's a little heavy for Sauce, honestly. I like the player.
Man. Me too.
But I think he's kind of tapered off a little bit. I'd like to see him.
I don't think he's in Surtain and Stingley's league, actually. I think he's a little bit below that, in my opinion.
Kyle says, how realistic? We could be 4-0 with the Bucs, Chiefs declining rosters. I don't think the Bucs declined. Well, they got the offensive line issues right now. The worst soon. Maybe. I like that.
I don't think
the thing I like about the Bucs, though, is I like Bucky Irving, and I like that three-headed monster of wide receivers. They just added Emeka Egbuka in the draft. And normally the offensive line's solid. Now,
right.
With worst one, how does that change?
That's right. They were
Chiefs
number
definitely
5.
Declining. Rams struggled to stop the run, but
they were number 5 in PFF. And now with worse out, they're clearly
depending. I think 3-1 in that opening 4. I think.
Yeah,
I would be very happy with 3-1. I think 2-2 would be the floor. Jason A-Team checks in. He says, technically, Jalen and the Eagles sell more tickets because they have more games to play in the playoffs. How you doing? Jordan Brand is bigger than the Cowboys. That's true.
Jordan Brand is bigger than the Cowboys. So you think that Jordan Brand is bigger than $10 billion? Probably so. I would think so.
Jordan Brand's annual revenue is $7 billion, so that would make them worth more than $10 billion.
Because the Cowboys, I think, are valued at $10.5 billion.
Yeah, and that's probably light. If they hit the open market, the Cowboys would probably get $12-13 billion.
Yeah.
Hangry Dogs again. Thank you, Hangry. He says, how is covering Jalen's deficiencies not a rip? Sills is talking out both mouths and mostly his ass.
Okay, well, here. This is what I just got through saying here, man. Once again, here's one thing that's true. They lowered the volume of passing. They got a running game, and they ran the ball, like Zander said. Every quarterback has
a troll respected a nice troll.
Let me throw this at you. I think he's a fucking douchebag. At the end of the day here, Tom Brady had deficiencies. You know what that was? Internal pressure. That's why the checkdown game became efficient for him, and that's why he threw the checkdowns. He didn't throw long passes. Why? He was afraid of internal pressure. I don't know. Brady had a hole, and he had a blind spot in his game too. That was internal pressure. I don't know what. Hey, Guy, thanks for the super. Appreciate it. Guy.
It's Theo. That's my boy Theo. Come on, man. Jason A-Team gifts 5 memberships. Whoa. A-Team, thank you, brother. We got a bunch of gifted memberships this morning on Birds. Now we got 5 more here on Sileo Show. Thank you, A-Team. I appreciate that, my man. One of our greatest supporters is Jason A-Team. Theo again says, what's the rule that prevents us from doing both? Jalen over 4K and running a game, Barkley, Shipley, and Dillon over 2K. I don't know if that's.
I don't think there's anything to that. I think there's just going to be in-game situational approach.
Yeah, right. I don't think that.
I don't really think it's going to be anything.
I don't know if there's that many yards to go around. I mean, how many yards does a team get in a given year? I don't know, 6,000 yards.
Do you think he's going to throw for over 450 attempts this year?
Last year he was what, 350?
361.
361, and I think at his peak he was 550 or 540.
Yep. That was 23.
I think 450 might be the over-under. It might be the sweet spot. Probably 425, 430.
425 should get him over 4K. 425 should get him there.
4K. I think that's right in the 3,500 number probably.
Depending on what Xander, what that defense looks like early. You think the defense struggles early? Or do you think it's going to be more on the offense to maintain the time of possession to get that?
when I was given a master class and I got cut out, part of what I said was they could have a slow start defensively because, I mean, think about it. The young guys could have, I don't know if you heard all that when I was talking about the young guys, how they have some different things that could take the first 4 weeks. But I also think on the flip side of that, where you have the most experienced coordinator in football in Vic Fangio, he has shown that he needs a couple of weeks to figure out where he wants guys, who he wants playing where, when he wants them there, how much he wants them there. And I think all of those things are going to come into play. So I think it's not just players. I actually think there's going to be a Fangio element where is Makuba ready? Is Jahad Campbell ready? Where's Nakobe Dean in the mix? Who's playing good where? I think Vic Fangio is going to have his chessboard like moving pieces everywhere. So I think that could potentially scale up a little bit.
As a first year starter, who has the most pressure, do you think, on that defensive side of the ball?
First year starter, probably Ringo or the safety. I mean, I think you could make the argument. I don't know. Does Nolan Smith count as a first year starter?
No.
Yeah, because I would say him if he counted.
Because to me, I think it's going to be more if he can hold up. Not he's answered the talent question, which wasn't sure because we just didn't see it. Vic brought the best out of him for sure, and to me, it's just going to be more about whether or not it's long. You know what I mean? That he can hold up. It really is. It's going to come down whether or not he can hold up. That's how I'm going to look at it. How he can hold up.
Hangry says, "This is Mad Dio. Dio, I recognize you. I see the JAKIB shirt in the picture, but Big Sill
that's Dio. My bad, dude.
Big Sill has called you. What'd you call him?
I don't even remember, man.
I got you. I crushed you today, and now you're mad at the chat.
You had no take that mattered to me.
My internet was barely working. I still crushed your ass.
It was terrible.
I had your aunt coming in for backup to save your ass. I was beating your ass so bad.
Worst segment you've ever had. Worst segment I've ever heard.
East Coast Rico says, what player on defense needs a Pro Bowl season for us to be top 3 defense besides Jalen Carter? Nolan Smith, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon, and Zach Bourne again.
Zach. You see they ranked Zach 3rd best linebacker in football? I think that's a great spot for him.
That's crazy.
You got him behind Warner. Dude, you're behind Warner.
Warner and who? Roquan?
Roquan. Bro,
I'm good with that.
That's fabulous shit, man. You have no worries about him taking a step back.
No, I don't think I have. Well, statistically, I think it's inevitable he takes a step back. But I think with that player, you need him to be great, play in and play out. Doesn't mean I need stats, and I think they'll come naturally. But if he has a 10% reduction in stats, but he's still the dominant force or the stable player that he is at linebacker, I think you overcome it, So what's the matter? Is Kurt reaching out to you?
No, I'm going to say you can log on now. So, yeah, hopefully he can do that there. Hurts is top 5, but Sills talks like he's bottom 5. I tell you every time we got him in my top 5. He's not in my bottom 5. He's not in my bottom 5. I do not have Jalen Hurts. And I said from February 10th to this moment, I've been exceptionally consistent that guy will never be out of my top 5 right now because of accomplishments that he's accomplished. Okay? And the least amount of yards he throws for, the better. Because that means
he's top 3.
What's that?
He's top 3, and he's not number 3.
That is ridiculous, but sure. Okay, I mean, like I said, there's no debating that with people who think that because nobody in their right mind. And again, that was a good one. If you had to start your team, who'd be your top 3 quarterbacks?
Mahomes, Hurts, Allen. Done.
Okay.
I think Allen's overcome the most with his circumstance. I think if you look at his playoff losses, he's actually the guy that played the best in every loss. I mean, that one loss I always think about. 13 seconds left. The guy he marches you down, gives you a lead over the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and leave it to Sean McDermott to blow to 13 seconds. And Mahomes comes down in 12 seconds and gets a touchdown. I mean, oh my gosh. I still think about that playoff game. Those are my 3, though.
Okay.
Wait, we got one more super chat before Kurt.
All right.
Z, you got to do a better job at making J-Mac say stop it. I do, East Coast. I will try and do that, but J-Mac is a tough cookie to crack, my friend. He's not like Big Sills. I can get under Big Sills' skin. All you got to do is say Jalen
Not
Hurts
with
is
any of those takes today, you can't. I mean,
yeah, unfortunately,
hey, that was an easy day today, man. I want to say
when your aunt has to come in for backup in the chat, you know it's bad. You know it's a bloodbath for you, Big Sills.
I know. Yeah, I got it. Hey, man. Bro,
I'm out of here, my friend.
We'll be watching at Birds 365 in the morning. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
All right, man. Guys, I appreciate you guys coming aboard. Now, listen, I gave you guys a special today because of the All-Star game tonight. Now, I don't know if the All-Star game is as, for me, when I grew up watching the All-Star game, you know, the National League guys, they never saw each other, or the American League guys never saw each other unless it was the All-Star game or a World Series. See, to me, interleague play, I hate it. I think you take away from that game and the competitive edge of that game. I liked it when those guys only saw each other in the World Series or in the All-Star game. Because to me, I would want to beat the American League or I'd want to beat the National League. And when you watch those games, they were so competitive.